Elections are just a few weeks away, and Anthony Trimino is just one of the multiple candidates running in the state's gubernatorial race to challenge Governor Newsom. He joins us now with an update on his campaign. Good morning, Anthony.
Good
Thanks
morning.
for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
For people who don't know your background, you are based in Orange County, but you have a really interesting story. Your grandparents immigrating from Cuba. Tell us a little bit about your background and your background in politics.
So I'm the grandson of a man who fled communist Cuba to pursue the American dream here in the United States, specifically in California. He wanted to be independent from the government, so he became an entrepreneur, instilled that entrepreneurial spirit in my father, who instilled it in me. 20 years ago, I started my own company in LA and built that company up over the next 20 years to what Inc. magazine just called one of the fastest growing privately held companies in America. And like so many people, we were on our way to Florida. You know, coming out of 2020, going into 2021, California was just unrecognizable to us. And we pondered leaving the state. But my wife, she dug her heels in. She convinced me to stay. And long story short, we decided to stay and fight, not just for our family, but for other families as well. I have 5 beautiful children, and we're fighters, and we're going to stay and fight.
And I mean, you use the word fight, but I mean, in reading on your website, you said, I believe we're in a battle for our souls, our soil, and our liberties. Explain that. Yeah,
this is not the California that my grandfather fled communist Cuba to pursue. It would be unrecognizable to him. Our liberties have been, and our freedoms have been trampled on. And so this is a fight. But to me, and you know, I go around, I talk to people of different political backgrounds, different religious backgrounds. This fight that we're in, it's not a political battle. This is evil. This is good and evil, light and darkness. And so we have to fight in a very different way, and that's what we're doing.
So what are you hearing as you're traveling up and down the state and the 14 days left? I know you're making several stops today even. Yeah. What are you hearing from voters?
Desperation for change. So many families are discouraged. They don't want to vote. They want to leave the state, and they don't see hope. But thankfully, we're bringing a message of hope to the state of California. We're talking about things that are not political. We're talking about quality of life. We're talking about protecting our kids, protecting our businesses, lowering taxes, dealing with crime and homelessness. And so we're instilling a message of hope. And there are so many people looking forward to the primary on June 7th, which is only 14 days away, where we will decide what 2 candidates advance into the general for what we are calling the battle for California.
And you say you're the better opponent to beat Governor Newsom.
I think I'm the only person that can beat Gavin Newsom for 3 reasons. Number one, in order to win in California, you're going to have to achieve 3 things. You need the Latino vote. So I'm 50% Mexican, 50% Cuban, but I was born here, so I'm 100% American. You're going to need the evangelical vote. You're going to need to get the churches involved. And you're going to need grassroots. And what does grassroots look like today in California? The biggest voting bloc in California today looks like moms, angry moms, parents who want to stand up and protect their kids. We've been able to galvanize all 3 categories. So I truly believe that we represent the only chance to actually unseat Newsom in the state.
But it's a state historically that is blue, blue, blue. How do you overcome that? And especially now with some of the issues that are at the forefront. I mean, you mentioned moms, and reproductive rights are being put as a major issue on this ballot, something that is seen by some political analysts to benefit Democrats in this case. How do you overcome those challenges in the state of California and the fact that there's so many registered Democrats here?
We're in a very good position right now. In the recall, Newsom was at a 42% disapproval rate. He's sitting at 50% now in a heavily blue state. What does it mean? He hasn't just offended the people on the right, conservatives and Republicans. He's offended independents, MPPs, and Democrats alike. He has done an amazing job galvanizing people. People of different political backgrounds, different religious backgrounds are now coming together and uniting under one cause, which is this is not the California we want to live in. It's not the California we want to hand over to our kids. And so he's done an amazing job of pulling people together, and I think we're going to capitalize that on and win.
What about the name recognition?
So, as you know, you're in the news, so everyone is only one news cycle away from making national news, right? And my business is advertising. So I know paid media and earned media. And so we just launched a statewide media blitz, TV, radio, print, outdoor, out-of-home, experiential, direct mail. So we're doing it on that front. our name is getting out there. But here's the beautiful thing. We've built over the last year the biggest grassroots movement in California. So our name recognition flies below the radar, which is exactly what we wanted. It's intentional. Newsom is said to have a cakewalk this year because they're not seeing any candidate really getting the name recognition by most metrics. But we've built something that is so incredible. It flies below the radar, and we call it the fog that's rolling in. And by the time he sees us coming, it's going to be too late.
All right. AnthonyTrimino.com is the website to go for people to get more information on your campaign, your issues, and maybe we'll get to talk to you in the next 14 days as you're continuing to fly up and down the state.
Up and down the state, yes.
Nice meeting you, Anthony. Thank you so much for the time this morning.
Good to meet you as well.
Appreciate it. Well, as a reminder, Anthony Trimino is running against fellow Republicans Brian Daly and Major Williams, Independent Michael Schellenberger, in addition to several others. There's a lot of people in this race. The top two winners, of course, as we mentioned, in the June 7th primary, will run in the state's gubernatorial election in November.